No Henny in cups. All 2023.
No. First of all, I didn't even know that people actually like. The way that I got into Henny was just off of like this idea, this like hip hop culture idea. Like you always got to hold the Henny like this in the pictures and stuff. So I didn't think that people actually put them in cups. So I just never put them in cups.
Say no, they gotta know we drinking Hennessy. If it's in the
Facts,
cup,
you
they're not
gotta
gonna
hold
know. You gotta get the Hennessy cups. Not
What
that
you mean?
that goes to show you just the power of marketing, and also hip hop culture.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause what I mean is it? Am I tripping? It wasn't like Tupac that really put Hennessy on like that. He was like
really?
was he one of the first ones? Well, who do you think is a?
I don't know. I'm just going based off of pictures that I've seen of like niggas at functions with Henny, and they always have it in their hand. I never I seen red cups, but I just never imagined them mixing it. I couldn't imagine.
You can pull that back a little bit. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine you really mixing Hennessy anyway. It doesn't taste good like that.
I'm gonna be honest. I never liked it. I never really liked Hennessy.
That's a gangster drink.
Boosie actually just dropped a damn. I wish I knew what the name was. He dropped like a Hennessy straight competitor. He kind of marketed it like that too. When he was on his 85 South Show episode, he was
not
like
the only one competing with Hennessy, but there's no competition.
But he actually said, I haven't seen nobody else say. He was actually like, yo, you know how? He said, y'all know when y'all make that face when y'all drink Hennessy. So it's not gonna make you make that face.
I mean, the face is a part of the culture. Like it's a part of it. Like you just get numb to it. You know.
I get it.
I'm just immune to the taste of it. Like I still feel it when I drink it. Wait, let me see.
This damn near a commercial for Hennessy right here. Send the check.
When I sip this, I feel gangsta and refined at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta always drink it neat. What you mean?
I fuck with it.
That's a fact.
Hey. So you came here on your Undertaker vibes.
Oh wait a second. Can we get a full view of this?
Yeah. Do you think that your whole face in the wide?
Oh, wait, this one.
That's the wide over there.
Okay. Wait a second. Okay, so y'all see it. Wait.
We got Ricci the Ruler in here, man, all the way from Long Island. Long Island, right?
Long Island.
Make sure I'm not mistaking it for Staten Island.
Okay.
I think I said Staten Island one time on TC. He was like, "No, bro, it's Long Island."
Niggas always do that. That's so weird to me. Like they get a little bit of like recognition coming from Long Island, and then all of a sudden they rep in Brooklyn. Like
really
like that. That's weird.
See, I don't really know much about New York. What's the are Long Island and Staten Island even like close?
No, not close at all. Staten Island would be considered one of the, part of the boroughs, the 5 boroughs. So that's Staten Island, look, I'm from New York and I'm about to mess this up. Okay, Staten Island, you have Manhattan, you have Brooklyn, you have Queens, and you have, what's the other one?
Bronx.
The Bronx. Okay, there you go. And that's it. And then you have Long Island, which is the suburbs, which is why I believe people always try to snub Long Island. But think about the greats that are from Long Island. Billy Joel, Mariah Carey.
So does Long Island kind of look like this area? Kind of like...
Yeah. It's just like... It's just not the city. You just don't have like all the... You have the LIRR, which is the Long Island Railroad. But people they commute with a car. You have to have a car in Long Island. Otherwise, like the transits are like trash.
And that's like the opposite from probably like from the city.
Yeah,
people like don't really want to drive.
Yeah, if you have a car, it's just like to flex, or if you're going out of town. But for the most part, you go on the subway or you go on a train. Everything's always running.
Oh, yeah.
So. Oh wait, my bad.
So I guess you were born and raised in Long Island?
Yep.
What was that like? Just growing up in New York?
Growing up in New York for me, I believe, well, so I've been told I lived a sheltered life. I came up with my parents together, and I was just scholastic. I was into academia. I wasn't into sports on purpose because I'm black and I'm tall and I'm athletic in build. So I just always been defiant, like, nah. Even though I am really good at sports, I just didn't want that to be like my thing.
What were your parents doing, like coming up?
My dad, he always had a few jobs. He was working at TSA. My mom, she's worked for Verizon like my entire existence. She still works for Verizon. When I was 12, they actually split up, and I moved to Dix Hills, which is, I guess, a more affluent type of area, and it was very, very different for me. Very, very different. People didn't wear pants, and I couldn't understand it.
What do you mean, they wore shorts? Or?
No, the girls that always wore leggings, and I'm just
Okay.
like, y'all are rich. Why are y'all wearing leggings? That don't make no sense.
When was this? I feel like didn't leggings really just get popping? Like, well, no, I mean,
I don't know. It's like on Long Island, it's Uggs and leggings and Starbucks. That's the culture.
yo, that's like the new New York culture.
That's Long Island. That's Long Island culture. Like, that's just what it is. Unfortunately, it's kind of trash, but I like Uggs a lot.
You buying all your friends pants for their birthday and shit? Like, yo, throw some pants on.
Look. For the most part, the people that I know, they actually dress. They actually put on clothes.
Yeah.
Like they take pride in the pieces that they put on, and yeah.
What were some more of the differences, like from the other area you were in?
The other area that I was in was more diverse. When I moved to Dix Hills, it's a more Jewish community, Jewish and brown. There's a lot of brown people that live there, and for me, I just couldn't fit in at all. I was like the typical Oreo or labeled Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside, because of the way that I speak and just stupid stuff like the fact that I liked actually going to school to learn, because I felt like that's what we were supposed to do. But when I moved, I feel like I moved at just a very awkward stage. Everybody already had their cliques established. So I remember one time I was sitting at the lunch table and I was just like, this is my final year. This is my senior year. This is my final year. You know what? I'm going to make some friends. So I was at the lunch table and they was talking and I interjected and they all did and continued their conversation. I was just like, you know what? Forget y'all. Y'all gonna hear me one day. Y'all don't even know. And that's really when I started writing.
Yeah. It's funny you say too, like a black on the outside, white on the inside. Cause I feel like we kind of had, that was stereotypes in our like high school too. But am I tripping, or did like the culture evolve since then? Like, do people still say that? I feel like just from
wait a second. I'm sorry. I gotta get back together because I'm a chicken. And not only that,
Is that a fake nose ring?
I'm like very indecisive too, because I love nose rings, but I do not like the idea of a permanent hole in my nose.
I respect it.
I don't like that. Like, what? Like, I don't like that.
But no, just like from like as an outsider looking in kind of on the black culture that I see just on entertainment and just the internet and stuff, it's like it feels maybe just kind of how I'm perceiving it, but I feel like it has evolved a little bit. Like kind of you can see it's more nuance in it now. Like it's obvious now that you're just.
Thank you, Tyler.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Tyler.
Is that me just being?
Love you.
Is that just me being ignorant, or is that
No.
or has there been an evolution like in the culture? Like
I
that?
really do, and I feel like it took people like Tyler the Creator or Kanye who came before him to like really just be like, y'all minds are so small. And not only that, like clearly I'm black. Like clearly. And I think that it's offensive to even put that on somebody else, to be like, oh, you act white because the way that you speak, when we live in America. Not that America has an official language, but for the most part we speak English in America. So the fact that I'm speaking English because I go to school which teaches me English, and I have an English class which furthers my English, my literature in English, it makes no sense why I would be condemned for speaking English or knowing it.
Yeah.
And also the ability to speak is like one of the best abilities that you can have, communication. And you could communicate on so many levels. You don't have to communicate being like a teacher, but you could communicate through music. That's the route that I chose because sometimes it don't connect when I'm like actually talking.
And then even depending on what like state you're in America, people speak English differently, different accents, different. You know what I mean? That's just that. Like you said, that's probably just like a real closed-minded view on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you coming up. You said you was big on academia. You didn't want to do sports. What subjects were you into at the time, and like when did you start kind of making music?
I mean, I don't think that the only subject that I didn't like, well, there was two. I hated chemistry because just for me, in order for me to really get into something, like I have to like see how it can be applicable in like life. And I just really couldn't, like, even though I drink water and that's like H2O, it's just like good information to know that the components of water is H2O. Like, it doesn't make any difference to me.
Unless you're about to be a scientist, you might want,
I mean, if I was to be a scientist, but my mind never like worked in that way. My mind was always working in pictures. Like, I hear things and I see things at the same time, or vice versa. That's how I'm able to speak.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like, for example, I was talking to TC about how I feel like we're like oil and vinegar. And in my head, I was trying to think of the word to like describe when two completely different things come together and make one new thing. And I said conglomerate, but really I was trying to say conglomerate. But I was spelling out conglomerate because the visual that I had was the actual spelling of conglomerate. So that's what I mean.
So y'all oil and vinegar. Then maybe we can get into that a little bit. So that's how I found out about you.
Salt and pepper, it's like things that go together. Like they're necessary together. Period.
So who's the oil? Who's the vinegar? First of all.
I would probably. I don't know. Well, I don't want to do oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar is not a really good thing because I didn't really think about it too much. But I use salt and pepper regularly because I like to cook. So I would say that he is. This is hard. I'm on the spot right now.
I don't know what label I give TC if it was a food.
I will probably say that I'm pepper and he's salt.
Yeah.
And the reason why I would say that is because pepper, obviously, it adds a nice flavor. It adds a nice spice to things. But salt actually brings flavors together so that you can actually taste them as what they actually are. Yeah. So for example, if you were making oatmeal, you could put like all the nutmeg, all the cinnamon, all the sugar that you want. But if you don't add a dash of salt to it, you'll be forever adding those things because something's missing, because all of those components are not solidified. They're not coming together. And I feel like salt brings things together, and it makes sense because he's a producer. He makes beats. He finds people or pieces and he puts it into one sound, and then he finds another sound, which is a person, to add words and in another melody to solidify it all together. The person is the pepper. I'm the pepper. That's the spice. That's the sauce.
On sauces too, y'all put me on with the mambo sauce. I went and bought some. I don't know if he told you.
Yo, I'm like mad. That. Look, first of all, TC put me on to the mambo sauce, and I brought that home. Yeah, he put me on. And I brought that home, and my brother ate it all. Ew. He's not my brother no more. He's not my brother no more after that.
Nah, the mambo sauce fire. But yeah, so like that's kind of how I found about you. TC just like put me on with you. We got bro on the cut too.
Oh yeah, with the lasagna.
What do you mean?
Didn't you put that on the lasagna?
What? Oh, the mambo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, that was your first time having mambo sauce?
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
Wait, actually, tell us your experience
with the mambo.
Yeah,
it was fire. We, like I said, we usually get chicken lasagna like from the store when you just throw it in the oven. Which is cool. It's good too. So, but that was the first time trying like the store bought beef one. So it was fire. I actually went and got some.
Wait, have you ever had real lasagna?
No, I think the only times I really had lasagna is like the store bought. That's not a Bosnian meal. Like my mom didn't really make that coming up.
Okay. Please go to an Italian restaurant.
I might have had it. at an Italian restaurant. I mean, it's good. Even that was good too. Like,
no shade to the 7-5. But
we don't have any good Italian restaurants.
I mean, I'm not even gonna say just Italian.
Anna's, right? Anna's Pizza, is that Italian? Nah, take her to Anna's.
I'm not gonna say just Italian.
The food, you going? Go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
But look, I'm from New York, and New York is the melting pot of the beast of the world. And the beasts of the world just so happen to love to cook, and they go to New York to share their food, and that's where the best food is at. In any type of race. You know
what's crazy though? The best restaurant I ever been to was in DC. Carolina's Kitchen. You ever had that?
No, I've never been to
that.
DC
Was really
before.
No, really. You should go there. Carolina's Kitchen is fire. So you haven't had any. What's your favorite food you had out here? I guess wherever y'all went.
I had Papa John's actually. We've been
Papa
having,
John's?
Look, okay. It's a real thing because, like I said, I'm from New York and I eat real pizza. But I understand that y'all don't really have real pizza.
What do you consider real pizza?
From an Italian man named Joe, who's like the third generation of making pizzas. That's what I consider
like
real pizza.
the thin joints.
Not even real thin, just really hand rolled. It's just the water. New York's water is a thing that plays a major part in the dough and the crust of the pizza, which is why New York also has phenomenal bagels. But yeah. But the Papa John's was pretty cool out here. I mean, y'all finessed that.
I get Domino's if I'm really just going out. But for real, if I had to recommend you a pizza spot that can be close to that, maybe is Benny D'Amato's in Norfolk. They're fire, but it's like a big slice. Literally, a slice of pizza is like this big.
Look, I got still 48 hours. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a hard spot. As far as Italian, I want to say Anna's Pizza is Italian, but I don't know why I can't remember right now. That's like one that people say that's like one of the top joints right here as far as that. But yeah, so TC put me on with you. I think the first time we talked, we was on live. We did like a live podcast one time. We was on live on Instagram, and I think that was the first time you guys spoke too, right? On that live. So from your perspective, you want to tell kind of just how you and TC met and kind of just y'all's journey so far, I guess.
Actually, I think that is the first time that we actually like we spoke like because I never heard his voice before ever. But basically, long story short, TC hit me up July 2020 with, "Hey, I got some really great beats that I've been trying to look."
2020 though.
2020.
So y'all was tapped in for a while before you know what I'm saying, he told me about it. Yeah.
So he hit me up. He's just like, "Hey, I got some really dope beats that I've been looking for a female artist to jump on. Let me know if you like it." And my response was, "Ricky's not dropping bars until the winter." And that was it.
That's what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
You spoke on yourself in third person too?
I did speak in third person, actually.
She said Ricky not dropping her bars till the winter. And what he
No,
ain't,
that's
he ain't
a
saying
fact. I really did respond in that way. I don't even know why I responded in that way. You know what? I feel like at that time, I was like feeling kind of jaded. And also I was in a relationship with someone else. And like, I just didn't want my time to be wasted. And I know that with producers, unfortunately, me being a woman, that's a really quick slide. So I just wanted to be as much of a nigga as I possibly could in that moment.
And it's like an honor. You don't know him. It's like an online fucking message. Like you gotta take stuff for granted. Not granted, but like with a grain of salt.
Not for nothing. A lot of times when I was hit up for beats, they were actually quality beats. It's just it wouldn't stick to beats. It would be a nice segue into my DM. And I feel like that's very disrespectful. Especially if you're coming to my page and my page is a music page and you're introducing yourself as an artist, you should conduct yourself as an artist. I don't know if men actually have to deal with that.
You know what's funny? I never really thought about that. It's probably like that for girls a lot then. Like,
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think guys go through that. I haven't went through it. I'm sure it's probably some guys out here. I don't know. Maybe in reverse. Maybe if you're like on and like maybe it'd probably be girls that aren't even trying to be artists.
Yeah,
like,
but in those circumstances, I couldn't imagine a girl sliding on like a male artist on some I want to work with you musically and then all of a sudden switch it, "Oh, you look really great." Nah. I feel like if that's the case, they'll just slide in like, "Hey." But guys, they'll slide in with what makes them money or what they feel like is attractive to women, and that's their ambition. And once they get in, then, okay, now we're here. Now I want to talk about something else. No, I don't want to talk about nothing else with you. Sorry.
So this is something you've dealt with like a lot?
It is something that I've dealt with in the past. Fortunately for me, because like I said, I've always been a lady with my nigga and a nigga with my niggas. That's it. Like, so a lot of my guy friends, they don't know like the softness that I have. And I feel like that's good. Keep it that way. They don't need to know that. But I like to just do business. And I feel like I have to protect myself. Maybe I shouldn't have to feel like that. I don't know where I got this idea. Maybe it's love and hip hop. Maybe it's testimonies from other women that are in the music industry and the experiences that they've had, that I just didn't want to experience those things. Like, I didn't want to be a pretty face. I didn't want to be like an Instagram model or anything. I really just wanted to go out as being a songwriter. This whole artist stuff is new. I didn't really even want to be an artist, but I said fuck it, because who's gonna hear my music unless I'm putting it out?
You just wanted to be a ghostwriter?
Yes, actually. Yeah.
Have you written for anybody?
I have written for a few people. Actually, my friend Diamond. Shout out to you, Diamond. Wait, am I supposed to be looking at the camera? Wait a second.
I mean, if you're shouting somebody else, yeah, I guess.
Shout out to you, Diamond. I have written a song for her, and she's a beautiful person. It was easy to write that song, really.
What do you like about songwriting, and what made you, I guess, go into just trying to be the artist or being an artist?
What do I like about songwriting? I just have a really great respect for it. I feel like, for me, maybe I've just been conditioned in my, like, I was telling you about, like, my experience in school. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Actually, before my parents split, I did have friends. Shout out to them. Just playing. But, before, not just playing, but seriously. But before my parents split, I did have actually a lot of friends. In 8th grade, in our yearbook, I was voted 2 things.
Well, I was voted something too. I'm gonna tell you.
I was voted 2 things. And actually, if anybody from Brentwood West Middle School it gets to see this podcast, I need the yearbook, please. But I was voted 2 things: most likely to succeed and musically inclined. And I had a lot of friends there. And then, like I said, when I moved to the new school, I guess I just hit like that awkward stage, like the second half of 9th grade, where all the cliques were already established. Also, tokenism is a real thing.
What do you mean by tokenism?
A token is a black person that's welcomed amongst white people.
Oh, I've heard that.
And sometimes you could fight over that position. Like, if you are already a token that's established in a clique, you can actually be intimidated by another person coming, because you don't know if those people really like you because of who you are, or if they like you because of the ideal of you, as far as what diversity is. And you don't want to be in a place where your position can be taken from somebody else. And I've experienced that a lot firsthand, which is really weird. I'm like, you one of us. Like, if anything, if they cast you out, we could still be friends. But I don't know. I just never really.
That's crazy to be thinking about stuff like that as a kid, like to have to think like that.
Bro,
like,
I mean, I feel like I didn't want to think about things like that. I feel like certain things.
No, I'm saying it's like thrust on you, almost, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, because certain situations happen and I had to ask, like, why? And then that's when it was like the truth, because you know that thing, like, I don't see colors. Like, I see colors. Like, I see that you have fair skin, but that doesn't like make me feel any type of way. Actually, that makes me like curious to know what your walk in life is. Like, how do you navigate through life, in hopes that our navigation through life is the same, and if it's different, in what way?
Yeah.
And not even in what way is it better or is it worse, but like just genuinely curious, like, in what way is your navigation in life different than mine? How are you navigating through life? What things are on your mind? What things do you feel anxious about?
Yeah, see, that's like I came up like raised in a Bosnian household, right? So there's like certain things that we didn't really have to think about, like even down to the black and white stuff in America. Like, that's not something we ever talked about in my house. Like, we always felt like outsiders in this country. Like, we're just here. So it's like, it's interesting to me to see how other people, like, how your lives were, and like coming up and, you know what I'm saying, being affected by the stuff. I'm sure like I had, you know, whatever white privilege, just kind of just off what it is what it is. But it's not like something that we didn't even know what that was. We weren't talking about that. It was always like, my parents were always like, fuck all Americans. Not fuck Americans, but they put all Americans in the same category. It's just Americans.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
In the
like, lazy,
entitled category.
I mean, you see what you see in movies, you know what I'm saying, when you're from somewhere else. But it's just like, I feel like I had a kind of different experience like that. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I was always kind of just like, I felt like I was looking at what was happening in America kind of as an outsider. Like it wasn't like it didn't really affect me personally. That's maybe I was just ignorant to certain things, but that's just how we were kind of looking at it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get
and
it.
I got voted most popular in 8th grade.
Hey, I mean, you give popular vibes.
Yeah.
You give popular vibes.
I mean, I was always a person. I was just cool with all the cliques. I didn't really have a problem with, like, you know what I'm saying? Being in one clique.
Nah, I was the weirdo that didn't get in trouble but sat in the front of the class because they wanted to be close to the teacher and look at the chalkboard and like actually like learn what was going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got bullied for that. That's so weird. Why people bully you for the stupidest thing? You're smart. Look at that nigga trying to be smart. What the hell? That's so weird.
The whole time everybody graduates and you like trying to like you scrambling to get smart real quick. Like, damn, I should have been getting smart my whole life. Let me get smart real quick. Who got some of that smart on?
Please, I'm not even that smart though. To be honest, I'm really not.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when we're younger, like you sometimes think of like trying as uncool, and like you're just like, that's how we were. We were just like skipping all the time, fucking didn't care. Like, then you realize, like, damn, I really wasted a lot of time. Probably should have cared a little bit. You know?
Nah,
so you
for me, I'm a Taurus, and like when they say like you're bullheaded, like I'm just very bullheaded, and sometimes I could like, with my bullheadedness, I could lack like awareness of like the room and the environment, especially if like I'm fixated on something or if I know what this establishment is meant for, that I'm not able to really see all the other components that are a part of that establishment. Like for school, books, studying, homework, getting good grades. That's how I'm going into school. Other people are going to school, friends, classmates, who's sitting next to me, lunchtime, gym, and things like that. And in a lot of ways, like looking back, I probably pushed some people away because I felt like they were going to interfere with what my purpose was at that particular moment. Like, my purpose is not you. Like, get away from me. Don't look at my page. Like, don't try to steal off my.
Then you won't let nobody copy off you?
No.
Wow, you was one of those.
No, because why are you copying off of me? I put in a lot of work studying this.
Like, I can't skip and do it.
I mean,
one of us got to skip.
When I got into high school, I got that pressure because when you're alone for so long and you're not going to know none of the functions and people get a wind that you're kind of smart, then like you're like, okay, I'll let you copy off of my thing so that we could have like an interaction while we're in class and I could feel like I've made a friend.
Do you feel like your parents how you feel like your parents' divorce affected you? I know you say you moved, kind of disrupted your whole friend group.
In retrospect, I feel like the divorce at that time for me was like the end of the world. But in retrospect, it probably was best that they split. Sometimes it's better to not be in a home where there's conflict or there's no order. Like, order is very important because your kids are going to model you regardless. And you don't want your kids going into the world with no type of structure, no male, no female, no kid structure. And I feel like it was a good thing for me to see that and how it affected me and my youth, and to not see it and how that also affected me and the 4 years of high school. And to me, I'm pro stay together.
Yeah.
I'm pro stay together. But also before stay together, pro have a really strong foundation in, as far as communication and being a friend with the person that you're with. Because once you make that commitment to marry, that's like, it's not just paper for me. You
want some for life shit?
I'm death row.
That's how. In Bosnia, it's pretty like rare for people to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's kind of, even times are changing. It's like everything is, even over there, it's like, you know, in America, they'll say a lot of shit's changing. That's how it is over there, too. People are starting to do more kind of weird shit. But traditionally, we really for life with it.
I feel like a lot of cultures are pro death row. I don't necessarily agree
pro
with
death row. I never heard anybody say it like that.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of sick that I said that, because I was going to say I don't necessarily agree with all the routes and the manipulation tactics that some countries do enforce the pro death row, but I do stand behind it.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes, women have rights, and sometimes certain countries will not respect women's rights and that respect.
I get you.
So yeah.
Is it? I want to say Iran. No, is it Syria? Where there's a lot of protests going on because that girl that didn't have her hijab on, they killed her.
I think I heard about that.
You heard that? It was like, I think the cops had killed her in custody or something like that. Actually, and there's a bunch of protests like around the whole country for that.
So that I'm not co-signing to. Yeah. But I do believe, I don't believe that everyone should get married and everyone's supposed to get married. But I do believe that if you are getting married, like marriage is of God and it's a covenant. That's not like a promise just to your person. It's a promise to the Most High that He has provided you this person for you to take care of. Like if you look up the definition of Lord in Google, a synonym for Lord is husband. Your husband is supposed to take care of you and protect you and guide you and lead you. And then as the wife, you're supposed to take those things that he gives you and nurture it and multiply it, not just with babies, but also in investments and things that you do together. What
are your thoughts on kind of just family structure and just in the mainstream right now? You know, it's a lot of guys like, you know, well, guys really been on like in the songs like fuck girls, whatever, just kind of talking shit about girls. And now it's like you got the whole city girls things going on. Like, I feel like family structure is like not really valued right now.
No, it's not. And that's why I don't encourage people to get married unless they're really serious about it. Especially because I feel like not a lot of people are really strong-minded within themselves. And this is from a person that is growing in being strong-minded and knowing themselves. Because I've struggled with insecurities for most of my life. It's not for the faint. It's not for the weak. My brother and my sister, they've been married for, how long have they been married? I think for 17 years now.
Yeah.
And I've seen the good and I've also seen the pits of hell bad in that relationship. But I've also been able to see how if you allow God to repair, He doesn't just repair, like He does, not to sound like a cliche, He really does work miracles for real.
All right, so I know we bouncing around a little bit. So you touched on wanting to just be a songwriter at first.
Yes.
What was kind of the moment to where you're like, yeah, I'm going to actually...
World domination. I feel like the people in the background, they control things. They have more control. And I feel like I really didn't have any control over anything. My emotions, the way that I was communicating. I wasn't getting invited to none of the functions. So I said, F it. I don't even want to get invited to the functions. I don't want to talk to y'all.
So when you were a songwriter?
No, being a songwriter.
Okay.
Why I wanted to be a songwriter? Because of that. Just control. And I'd like the idea of not necessarily being invited to the functions that people's turning up at as long as they listen to my stuff.
How would songwriting give you control?
Because I'm controlling the whole mood, the atmosphere of this environment without even being there. I feel like that's really dope.
What that boy Drake said,
it's
y'all
like
going out. What Drake said, y'all go out record. No, he said y'all be at the parties. I'm making the hits they party to or some shit.
Actually,
I butchered that. You know what I'm talking
about? I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I feel like when I heard it, I was just like, yes, I feel you.
So you want to control.
You see me dressing all black? I'm the Undertaker. I'm in character right now.
Yeah. So they started inviting you to the functions? Inviting you to the functions?
No, I still ain't getting invited to the functions. This is what I'm trying to say.
Look, she gonna bring the mambo sauce. Tell her pull up.
Look. No more functions. I ain't even trying to be at functions anymore. But like I said, I really do like the idea of being able to control the functions, like just subconsciously. And I feel like
for real, when you really become really influential, you are controlling the youth. You're controlling what the next generation or what that generation is believing, like how they're acting, what they think is cool, which you are influencing, you're controlling the world to a certain level. That's why I think but you can also overthink that. Like I think Kanye overthinks that sometimes. But you do have a lot of influence, which is it's a crazy responsibility, and I'm sure it's super overwhelming. But yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Speaking of responsibility, I was just talking to TC the other day about how I feel like that's such a cop out to be at a platform, to have a large following and to have large influence. And then when you questioned about some of the things that you say that may be harmful to who you're influencing, you just shrug your shoulders and be like, well, I'm not a what is it? I'm not a role model. Like, you may not have signed up for the role model like job, but you as an influencer, that's synonymous to role model.
That just comes down to people
That's
care
what a
not.
role model
Some people
is.
just don't care.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like I would respect a person more if they just said I didn't care. I don't care.
That'd be real.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it would.
But
be real.
even when you do care, it's you can still fuck up, and I feel you can own up to that too.
Exactly.
I am aware that I may be a role model to somebody, but maybe that's part of like what you want that person to learn, that you can fuck up still.
Yeah, everybody's changing. Like I'm not the same person that I was like 20 minutes before I got here. Like I feel like since I've been sitting in the seat, I'm a different person now.
You're actually, I think they say every year we're a different person. Like all the cells in your body die, and then it's replaced by new cells. So you're literally a different person. Like every cell in your body is different.
So every May 12th, I become a new version of myself.
Something like that. I'm wrong a lot of times. Somebody look that up. But yeah, I think it's once a year. Yeah, every cell in your body literally dies and it's replaced by a new cell.
Well, is it once a year, the same once a year in everybody's body, or once a year from their birth?
I don't know. I don't know all the details like that, but I know our cells get refreshed.
Actually,
Like, you
you know what? Speaking of change, that actually is very freeing to think about. Because, you know, everybody has their, like, own little silent burdens and, like, things that they, like, carry on with themselves. It's, like, very free to know that the same baggage that I had last year, like, to the cellular level, is no longer with me. That's actually really cool.
For me, even it's I try to get rid of mental baggage. That's what slows me down a lot. I literally try to not, like, the past doesn't exist to me. That's my ideal days. The ideal days is when I wake up and in my mind I had no life before this and I have no life after this. It's only right now. Like the moments I can tap into that level, it feels cool. But it's like, yeah, I get slowed down from thinking about the past too much or even the future a lot of times.
That's a good way to live. That's a good way to live. I mean, that's how this was manifested. So I believe it.
Yeah. Okay, so your songwriting. I think I seen on your first song on Spotify is in 2020. I think it's called Games, right?
Yes.
So is that the first song you put out, or did you like have music somewhere else? Just took some stuff down?
That's the first song that I put out on streaming, but I have SoundCloud. I think the very first song that I ever put out is called Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just, I don't even know how that song, actually, how did that song come about? Unfortunately, somebody that I knew passed away, and that was like my way of grieving them and mourning them. So yeah, that's how that song came about. And then
that's your first song you made, or just like the first one you put out?
No, that's not the first song that I've ever made. All of my history is in this phone, and my I have like this purple phone from Verizon. I forgot what the name of it is, like a rhyme or something. But Verizon had like this purple, like it was a flat screen phone, and that's where I did all of my recordings, all voice memos. That's really where all my songs are, in voice memos.
So you put out
and
Purpose.
Composition notebooks. I have like a whole collection of composition notebooks. I just started writing inside of my notes in my phone because I'm just trying to be more new age. Like, technology can be a friend. And I've been like so anti-technology. So now sometimes when I'm thinking, instead of grabbing a pen and a pencil, like I'll note it. And also, like, you can like press the you know, the button that you can like, what's it called? Diction?
When you could talk? And,
yeah. So now you don't even have to write. You could like talk in the phone and be like, lay out like a line and then think about it and then lay out another line. That's really
I think I only wrote like one or two songs on paper. It's just so much quicker to write on your phone. Like,
I feel like it, before I discovered the diction, I feel like it took a lot longer. When I'm writing, I'm just
that's how I used to write when I was like in school, writing essays and shit. I literally like I really remember it to this day because nobody else was really doing it like that at the time. Everybody else would kind of just sit there and think about what they're writing. But me, I was always like thinking about it while I was writing it. So I'll literally just sit there and start writing my essay and not stop.
Yeah.
And I'll just be thinking about the next sentence while I'm writing this one.
Yeah,
and I'll just come up with it and just do it.
Just having conversations.
Yeah, I always liked English, like writing and shit.
English? Okay, so speaking of favorite subjects, English and history are probably my favorite subjects, only because you could finesse any open-ended question just by having a conversation and writing. And teachers, I feel like they really appreciate that. Like, you could not read a book, but you pick something like, oh, I feel like this is a metaphor about such and such, and this is the reason why. Personally, this is how it has affected my life, da-da-da-da-da, and just add some extra stuff. And they really thought that you read the book, but the whole time you didn't read a single page of the book. You just know how to talk.
No, they used to have that website, too, where you can go and it'll, like, give you a fucking brief summary.
Yeah. What's that called? I know what you're talking about.
Remember that shit? It even had like the book summaries, and it had like
Wait a second.
answers
What
to
the
questions
hell?
too.
I know exactly what you're talking about because that's how I used to get the foundations to all of my.
No, yeah, I remember you having to use Cliff Notes. Yeah, Cliff Notes. Yeah, you remember using like proxies sites at school to like get on shit you couldn't, like sites that were banned.
No, not me.
Like every day, that was a daily thing. Like, yo, who got the proxy? Like, y'all got the who got it? You know what I'm saying? Where everybody had a list ready.
Y'all would ask for proxies.
Is it called proxy? Am I saying the right shit?
It wasn't until just now. I was just like using like.
Yeah, we was damn near hacking at school. Thing I really, one of the things I remember from school that I still use a lot in my life is typing. Like, I learned how to type on a keyboard in like middle school. I want to say 6th, 7th grade in like computer class, and I still use that to this day. I can still actually like legit type. You know, there's like a way to like actually type. You know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about? Like on a keyboard?
Like on a keyboard, like a computer keyboard.
Yeah. Oh, without using the keyboard, like on the actual.
Nah,
screen?
like just there's a whole system of how to actually type on the keys, like where to put your hands. Like, you know the system?
Oh, I never took typewriting class.
Yeah, but there's like a system to it.
Nah, I had to learn.
You a one finger warrior?
I had to learn typing the old fashioned way, you know, trying to pay my bills. So yeah, that's how that happened in the office.
So you dropped Purpose. That was your first song. What was kind of the journey, I guess, from there? Like, you just dropping singles, or like, what's been the process from there?
The process from there, really, I was just being really just safe. I just happened to be around people that were doing music, and I'm actually very grateful for like meeting these people, because if without them, I probably would just be a closeted beast when it comes to writing. No one would know. For the most part, it was just for me, just like affirmations from myself or confirmations from myself that I feel like I needed, or certain situations that I was confused of that didn't necessarily even have anything to do with me, just things that I saw, like a meme that I saw, and just processing how that made me feel and putting it into a song so I could listen back on it.
So you weren't even sending these songs out to people, you were just...
No, they were all for me. Nobody even knew. Nobody even knew until I shared it, and they're just like, wait a second, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you keeping this for yourself? And I'm just like, because I don't want anybody else to hear it. And in hindsight, I really believe that the reason why I didn't want anybody to hear it was because I wanted to protect myself from being rejected. I didn't want to give somebody the power over something that I felt like brought me so much joy and so much peace, and something that was so intimate to me, and put that in the world, and someone would be like, that's trash. And even if it wasn't trash, like just to be a hater, like I didn't even want to put that out there. But I feel like at this point, I've written so many songs, and I've gotten better at writing these songs, that it's just like, now it's just preference. Okay. Like, I could take somebody saying, oh, I don't really like that song. It's just like, okay, you don't like this genre. Let me go into this one.
It's funny how music is really the only art form where people say it's trash. Because if you think about it, if you're in a museum and you see a painting, when have you ever, like, we've heard it, but it almost sounds so dumb to say that people don't say it. Like, if you see a painting that's just sold for like $1 million, whatever, you could be like, I can make that myself. But that sounds almost dumb to say. It's like, this is just a piece of art that's what it's worth to somebody. Mm-hmm. So you don't really hear often people say that paintings are trash. Nope. Am I tripping?
I think that's...
But it's like music that's like, it gotta be good or bad. It's like you have to make a decision on this.
Yeah, I feel like that's trash in itself, because music is a form of art. And just like you will go into a museum, you will go into the museum with an open mind to know that this is the artist's lens that they're trying to, I guess, they're trying to communicate some certain message. Or maybe they're not even trying to communicate a message. Maybe they just want you to think about it a little bit more.
Maybe we also do it to ourselves, because there's
Possible.
painters and museums I don't think they're rating paintings. They don't have billboard charts for paintings. They're not making it a competition. It just kind of exists.
Yeah, and
so it's like when you listen to like when you listen to this song, you're not supposed to make a decision if it's good or bad. You're supposed to just experience it and let that affect you however it does, and that's what's happening there.
Yeah.
It's not, I think, like maybe we did it to ourselves with like these award shows and lists and different shit like that. Like,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the award shows. I think there's everything wrong with politics. Like there is a such thing as good and bad. And you know that from when you hear it. Like, you know that like on a spiritual level too sometimes. You hear something that's so trash and be like,
to me, the only thing I can really say
is
is trash, I'm about to cut you off, is if it's a copy of something else.
Yeah.
I can't really ever say your shit is trash if it's some shit I never heard before. If it's you being yourself, I can't say that's trash. To me, that's like, yeah, if you being original and authentic, that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not, nothing is for everybody. So it might not affect me the same way it's going to affect you. You might fuck with it more. You might go listen to it more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I can say it's trash. Me personally, like.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have heard trash music before.
Yeah.
I've had
but trash original music?
I mean, maybe I'm a snob. Maybe I'm a snob because I actually rate. Maybe that's what it is. Because some people, like, how do I say this? I don't know how to say this. But yeah, there's a such thing as trash in music. There is a such thing. But I feel like, for the most part, I feel like people are very closed-minded. But also, like I said, that I feel like the advantage that I have as far as being a songwriter is like, even if somebody didn't like R&B, or if somebody didn't like hip hop, like, my music catalog is so vast that I take that as a challenge almost. Like, if somebody says that they don't like they don't like those two, because I'm a black person, so you know, this is what we see black people as. They doing R&B if they're a woman, or they doing hip hop or something like that. But you have pop, you have electronica, which Beyonce just got into the electronica dance with her last project.
I like the house music joint.
Yeah. You have I feel like rock and roll still exists. And honestly, I'm kind of waiting for that to come back.
Like that Linkin Park vibe, that's my shit.
Yeah,
I want that type of vibe to come back.
Yeah, Linkin Park. I'm even going back to like Neil Young vibes.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like storytelling is the reason why hip hop is the dominating genre. And people don't even really realize that's the reason why. It went from rock and roll being the dominating genre to hip hop. And it's for the same exact reason, the storytelling. So I'm just waiting, and I'm just positioning myself for just that moment where people just are really dissatisfied with the mid-quality level music that I feel like, unfortunately, mainstream wise, a lot of that's being pushed on us. Underground is dope. Underground is where it's at.
Yeah, a lot of these complaints that we have, it's all pretty much in the mainstream. Like you said, the underground is already kind of doing this new era shit, but it's just so many people that have like business tied to certain type of music being mainstream, and it's like they have millions and millions of dollars to keep that shit in our face. Like, so I don't know. It might be tough to really correct that in the mainstream. I don't really know how you do that.
I don't think that it ever will be corrected in the mainstream, but I am glad that as far as the curtain for the labels and what mainstream is all about, I feel like that veil has been lifted, and people are starting to realize, hey, now that we have streaming platforms, now that we have distributors that we can actually upload our own music onto, like, we don't even need that anymore. Like, you don't, like, it has to come to a point in every artist's like life when they look in the mirror and they say, do I want to just be famous or do I want to create great music? Because if you want to be famous and you want to be the face, that's okay. But you do have to respect the realms of that type of world and that lifestyle and what the mainstream kind of wants. And you can do that. Like I do that with my reels all the time. Instagram sends me like these templates, I guess, of
they got a 2022 template going around.
yeah, like they have all these templates, and like if you actually apply those templates, Instagram pushes you. Like, oh, you listen to us. Let's push you. Try going outside of your, like, you go from 2,000 posts to doing something your own, get only like three views on it. It's just like, what the hell? Am I shadow banned? You just gotta really just know how to play the game. And then, so that's the fame side. And then you have the music side where you know that people are actually respecting your music. They're buying your music and they're listening to your music, but they may not even know what you even look like. And that's cool for me because I don't really care. That's why I got the shades on today.
Yeah, some people don't even want to be famous.
Nah, I mean, for me, I don't want to be famous because I don't want to get canceled. I probably would get canceled.
I'm sure there's a lot of, I feel like you could probably get more money not being famous because that behind the scenes, like you talked about earlier, like that's really, and probably the majority of control, because a lot of these famous people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but probably a lot of the like most famous people, there's probably like a team of people behind them kind of even telling them what to do. It's almost like being a damn president. Like, how many decisions are you actually making? Or it's like you're like delegating everything.
I always thought about that. I feel like that's so scary.
Being the president?
Yeah. I feel like I might not always agree with like whoever the president is or the candidates are, but I have respect for them because that's not an easy job at all.
Oh, yeah,
like that's like Twitter and social media on steroids because it's on a global scale. So I try not to talk too much crap about the president despite like liking that because number one, that's patriotic. Like for me to not
that's
do that.
America. We gotta talk shit. That's what makes us America too.
Like so like, that I feel like
we
the
talking
only
shit. That's how shit gets better. You talk shit about it until somebody fucking fixes it.
I mean, we've been talking shit about a lot of things, and I mean, I feel like there's certain things that we talk shit about that's really important, and there should be things that is done about it, and then there's other things that we talk shit about that's really not that important on the grand scheme that things actually go into play, and it's like kind of like a slap in the face. But I'll digress on what I mean by that.
I get it. But yeah, I definitely gotta respect the president's job. I'm waiting for a president to come around and unite the country. I don't know when is that last time that's happened, if it's ever happened, but that'll be a cool moment. Once we get a president that both sides can respect, and we can have
Wait, you said from somebody from out the country?
No, what do you mean? No, just a president.
Okay.
From here. I mean, you got to be born in America to be president.
Yeah, I was about to say, how is
I'm saying that both sides of the country, like both sides, like Republican, Democrat, can respect, and we can just have some type of unification or something. Like
I feel like that's all a part of the game.
Yeah, they won't let that happen.
Yeah, I feel like it's all a part of the game for there to be like adversity amongst them,
division and like
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they definitely want us to divide it. What's that shit? Divide and conquer.
Yeah, there's levels to this.
Yeah, it's levels to this. So, how long you been here in Virginia now?
I've been here since Friday.
You want to give us just overall thoughts? You already talked shit about our food. What else you think about Virginia?
Actually, outside of the food is not bad. It's just not New York food. It's just not the best. So that's that. Outside of that, I like everybody here. Everybody's actually really cool. Everybody that I've met so far is really cool.
What's the scene like out in Long Island?
I don't know what the scene is like because I'm not a part of anything. So I have no idea. Well, actually, the scene is at the Trap Studios. Shout out to Clear Mind! Sorry, I had to really shout out Clear Mind because Clear Mind is the scene. The studio that he created is kind of like this, but it's like it's in like an actual building. And there's different vendors that he has partners with. So you could get shoes one day. You can go to like the lounge, or you could just kick back with your friends, or you could buy like clothes in there. But the studio part is like the most important part because that's where I stay. And it's just, it has a curtain. And I really like that curtain. Because when I pull the curtain over, when I pull the curtain over, I'm the ruler. I'm Ricci the Ruler. And by day, I'm just Erica Christina Simmons, the songwriter. But when I get in the booth, that's when I actually become the artist. And that's something that I'm starting to actually feel a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, I seen you went to LA too. You performed.
I did.
You performed out there?
I wasn't even expecting to perform. I was just going out to
you went out there.
Look,
for the
I
show.
was going out there to support my peoples. Like I said, my friend Diamond, I wrote for her. She performed my song there, and she was planning on performing. So I had to be there to see that, because that's like my dream come true, to actually see somebody like perform my work without me being on it. Because I've done a lot of writing, and like I'll be in the background of different tracks for artists, but I've never had somebody just be like, I really need your words on this. I write my words, they don't change a single word, and they just perform it, and they sing it way better than I could have ever imagined even singing it. And then having the confidence, she was just so confident on the stage. I was like, yes, this is great. And but last minute, the guy that actually set up the whole event, his name is Ricci Rich. He was just like, you know what? I want you to go right before my set. And he was like the headliner. So not only did I just pop up, but, you know, I got right before the headliner. Yeah. And everybody was trying to be all cool in LA. I grabbed the mic. I was just like, I just flew all the way from New York to be here. Get your ass up, get to the front. And they stayed there too. And I really like that.
Yeah. When you're writing songs to somebody, or is it, I know you touched on earlier, like personal experiences in your music, but are you thinking about like the person you're writing for?
Yes. Yeah. I only recently started writing about things that were for me personally. Like even the things that I was talking about before, I was never getting that close to write anything that had to do with me specifically. Like I said, I would take a meme and like, how do I feel about that? Or how do other people feel about it? But I never put it out as this is what I feel about it. I always wrote music for the intention of it to be consumed. But for whatever reason, I just never shared it.
Yeah, some people don't. I have a friend, shout out to Avery. She writes poems. And she's like an official writer. She's an English major and everything. But she always sending me poems like, oh, like, what do you think about this? I'm like, yo, put them out. But she's like, nah. Which I never understood that. I can't, everything I pretty much do, I put out. So I never understood that. Like, yeah, why would you? I get it. It makes you feel good to do it. But it's like, damn, put that shit out.
Nah, it's really, the numbers are really intimidating. You write the greatest song of your life and you put it out and one person hears it, you almost like interpret that as this not the greatest song that you've ever written in your life just because one person heard it. But the reality is now another person outside of yourself got to hear the greatest song that you ever written in your life, and that's like a national treasure. Now it's just like, it's like collectible cards for me now.
I like that. Collectible cards.
Nah, I got that with TC's like, beats.
What? His beats are like collectible cards?
Yeah, because there's some beats that I'll never actually write on, ever. But I like to listen to them, and I like to know that I'm the only one that has them, and nobody has it.
Oh yeah, I don't even on that. So I didn't even tell you, but bro making a new intro, and we using one of the beats you sent me like a minute ago for the intro.
Oh.
I'm gonna show you which one. Oh yeah, that boy. Lit. You seen that boy? You seen that boy? Trump drop some cards.
Wait a second. Wait, I couldn't even see real quick.
You seen that shit, Karen?
Whoa! Hey, TC in the cut. Shout out to that
intro
man.
too, bro. Bro been working on it for a minute. I think he said his computer crashed or something. He had some technical difficulties, but yeah, new intro on the way. New intro. I'm kind of sick of the old intro. Shout out to Turtle. He made that one. He actually made the beat on it too. But hell yeah. That might be a fire spot to leave him at. Do you want to touch on anything else? I know y'all got Slide out, produced by TC.
Yes.
And Schedule's out too, right?
Schedule is out. Schedule just dropped on Friday. I dropped that right before I got over here.
Is that TC too, or who did that beat?
No, actually, that's the prelude. So right now, I'm doing a rollout for the actual project, which is called ET, and that's a joint project with me and TC. But I'm really just trying to show y'all the difference. So the rollouts, I'm dropping 3 singles, not produced by TC, just so you understand.
She said not produced by TC.
Just so you understand, really.
Really. Is this beef? It's like, no playing.
No. It's not beef at all. It's not. It's no competition. This is what I'm really trying to say. Yeah. This is the point. Because the songs that I'm dropping, they're not like just throwaways. They're not just like I don't like them or I don't respect these songs. But it's don't have a soul. It don't have a soul.
Well, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by it is just great writing, great production, great cadences. But there's something about E.T. is a salt and pepper, man. It really is really well balanced. It's like it's 2 individual people like literally creating a baby, and it's called E.T. It's an alien baby too. Kind of like Larry. That's why I love him so much.
Wait, what do you mean about you said the 3 singles don't have a soul?
They don't have a soul for me. Like Clear is probably like, if he sees this, he's gonna know what I'm talking about. But I've been like having a lot of trouble actually writing these songs while creating this project because it's just not hitting the same. And the reason why it's not hitting the same is because as the songwriter, Erica Christina Simmons, I'll find a really good beat and I'll write over the really good beat with the hopes of creating a really great song. But these beats were actually made for me. Like, these are Ricci type beats, basically, produced by one of my favorite producers, which is TC, and that's what makes the difference. These other beats are other artists type beats that I'm writing for other artists, really, in theory, in my head. But these are mine, and that's what makes it so special. Like, this will be, like, the first time that I feel like people are actually, like, really, really seeing me. And I'm a little bit intimidated by that because I feel like nobody's ever really seen me before. I've always been in the background of like everything. So like to get in the front of something it's scary, but it's a good kind of scary. It's like one of those purpose scaries. It's like one of those like about to go to war and just like fuck niggas up. It's kind of scary, but you know inside of your heart that God got your back and you're gonna come out unscathed, victorious. You might have a little bit of mental damage after it, but you'll be alive.
Let them see you.
Yeah.
Let them see you.
Like, this the real shine. This the real shine that I'm really trying to bring out. And I couldn't have really done it by myself. That's why it's so special. So that's the difference when I mean, one doesn't have a soul because others are just songs that I've written. These are my songs. These are mine. And there's a certain level of possessiveness that's to it that I feel like is going to translate really well.
And is there a date for this?
No date.
You haven't set it yet? Or
no, I have not set the date, but it's still going to be in the winter time. So we got 3 months. Let's
go back to the tech. She told you it was coming in the wintertime, bro.
I did.
She told you.
I did. I really did.
Are you rapping on it?
I am rapping on it.
So this is bars
in the wintertime.
In the wintertime, like you said.
In the wintertime. I'm not rapping the whole thing, but I definitely got some things to say off the yak. Period.
I fuck with it. E.T. Actually, I seen that on I think the collage post you had put. Remember there was one where you listening to the joint that me and Will got?
Oh yeah.
On like I think the last slide it was like it said E.T. which I didn't get. I didn't get that at the time. I just seen E.T. I was like, what's going on with that?
Well, like, I mean, it has like it's things. What's that? What's it called? It has its entendres.
Oh, but, let go.
No, E.T. No, E.T. has its entendres.
What you mean?
It means a few things.
Like what does it mean to you?
I don't know if I want to share.
I mean, all I know is I guess extraterrestrials. Like,
I mean, that's part of it. Yeah, that's the vision. But actually, no, I'm lying. ET stands for Erica and Terrence. But
yeah, I thought y'all was slick.
you said y'all thought it.
It's like no, I'm playing.
Look. First of all, the name just came out recently, okay? But ET stands for Erica and Terrence. Those are our like actual government names going into this. But ET also stands for extraterrestrial, but also stands for exposing thoughts. And that's what I'm going to be doing.
I fuck with that one.
Exposing my thoughts on this track, which just happens to be outside of this world, which just so happens to be written by normal ass people, Erica and Terrence, just living out our dreams, just doing what we got to do. Period. Oh,
I love that. I love that.
Oh yes. Wait a second.
That really might be a fire spot to leave him at. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. Thanks for coming out from New York. I hope you've been enjoying Virginia. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all for tapping in. Is there anything else you want to say?
Hey, Larry. Okay.
Shout out to Larry.
Hey, Mom.
He's in the studio.
Hey,
we got
Dad.
TC in the studio. We got Karen in the studio. ET coming in the wintertime. Hell yeah. Peace.